As you folks might have realized, Jean-Claude and I are going to be tag teaming this morning in terms of moderating the opening sessions. So the next session, as was mentioned earlier, the next speaker is going to be from the city of Paris in France. It is Jean-Louis Missika. Jean-Louis Missika is the Deputy Mayor of Paris in charge of innovation, research, and universities. He's a media sociologist and has occupied various positions in the media as advisor to the CEO of the French Public Television, head of Prime Minister's Information Services, and managerial roles for pollsters Sofres and BVA. Prior to being elected to Conseil de Paris in 2008, Mr. Missika was the vice president of Iliad Group. He has published several books. Please join me in welcoming Jean-Louis Missika.
Bonjour à tous. It's a great pleasure for me to be here in San Francisco. I have a part of my heart in this city because when I was a young research and professor, I was teaching in California, not in San Francisco, but in Los Angeles at the USC Annenberg School of Communications. But as a lot of my people from LA, I was very often here in San Francisco during the weekends. So I want to thank also the Chancellor of the University of Berkeley, Mr. Robert Birgeneau, for hosting this forum, and of course the Director of the CITRIS, Paul White, and my friend Hugh Aldridge, and His Excellency François Delattre, Ambassador of France. It's a pleasure to have you here in this forum. I've been asked to to make a little presentation of what Paris is doing about smart city, smarter city. I don't know exactly how to say that, because a city is smart by construction, you know, and intelligence have been concentrated in cities 2,000 years ago, and it's not new to have intelligence in cities because all the innovation of the planet have been created in cities. And what we are speaking about when we say a smart city now, it's to put some technological intelligence in the city system. So the first constatation I want to do is that the world, as we know, is facing three phenomena: two crises and one revolution. And these three phenomena are simultaneous, but not necessarily related. A major economic crisis, a major environmental crisis, and a technological revolution with the emergence of the digital age. Some would argue that the financial crisis and the environmental crisis are two faces of the same coin. One thing is sure: they are both crises of development, where a rapid and mostly uncontrolled growth has led us to the verge of collapsing. Both of these crises compel us to rethink our development in order to do better with less. Less money, less energy, less natural resources, and of course the necessity of less pollution. Faire mieux avec moins, comme nous disons en français, et pour la France, c'est un véritable challenge. With more than half of the world population living in cities, the city governments and city planners have a large responsibility in handling this situation and inventing solutions to these problems. Fortunately, the technological revolution that I mentioned gives us ideas and tools that were simply unthinkable 30 years ago, and these tools could help us achieve our goals. The emergence of IT and networks created a revolution at least as important as the invention of the printing press by Gutenberg. The invention of computer science gave machines the ability to perform calculus better than any human could. The invention of networks gave these machines unlimited knowledge and collaboration. Those two inventions created what we call information technology and, in a word, made machines smart. In turn, those smart systems can be applied to cities and make them smarter and more efficient. In order to address the climate change problems, the City of Paris has adopted an ambitious climate plan, le Plan Climat, in 2007. This plan goes beyond international objectives. While the European Union has committed to a triple 20 by 2020, Paris has set an objective of a triple 25. 25% less greenhouse gas emission, 25% less energy consumption, 25% less of Paris energy consumption to come from renewable energy sources. In order to do that, the city administration has set higher standards for itself, administrative buildings, city services, etc., with an objective of 30%. These figures are very ambitious, and such results cannot be achieved with just wishful thinking. It takes the joint efforts of most of the city's agencies and the private sector as well. Specific action have been launched. In construction, building, energy efficiency standards have been set for both new building and renovations. In energy distribution, a lot of work has been done with our concessions holders for electricity, natural gas, and heating. In transportation, efforts are being made both for public transportation. Some of you know what we have done for the tramway around the city, and private transportation, electric vehicles, and a very interesting operation done in Paris called Autolib. Autolib is a good example of an audacious initiative which has been criticized by experts and happens to become a success because Parisians use it and love the service. 13,000 subscribers, 550,000 trips in 10 months. It's a huge success, and the launch of this free access to electrical vehicle will be lasting in Paris, and I'm sure that there is some imitation in other cities. In procurement, environmental criteria have been added, like recycled paper, food for the school cafeteria, and so on. In waste management, new efforts have been made to boost screening and recycling. New treatment facilities have been created, and public campaigns have been launched. These actions have already produced some good results, but it is now clear that these new problems cannot be fixed without scientific research and innovation, mainly in governing global cities. Big cities have a duty to open themselves to innovation. Start working smart. A common way in the past was to take one function or one activity and make it smart in order to make it more efficient. It works to a certain extent, but what it really does is create silos of intelligence, a multitude of black boxes with no interoperability. As an example, most cities have smart centralized systems for handling traffic lights. They are optimized to follow a certain set of rules, but they are not usually connected to the other networks, nor do they react dynamically. What if these systems were connected to a network of traffic sensors, traffic cameras, pollution sensors? One could then work towards an adaptive system where traffic will be handled globally to avoid pollution and congestion, to give priority to pedestrians or buses. We have to stop buying black box systems and start thinking about connection and interoperability. This might prove difficult because cities are accustomed to subcontracting entire parts of their responsibilities to outside companies. A good example of this, when we renewed, the City of Paris renewed the contract for the city lights, the city transferred its energy constraints to the contractor. It basically said, I don't care how you do it, but you have to reduce the energy consumption by 30% over 10 years. It works, of course, because it's compulsory. But it is completely closed to the other city systems, to the other information system. And we are not able to add new functionalities. It is difficult to make your car engine run better if you can't even open the hood. So we have to keep our options open in our procurement by setting standards for interoperability. We have to think of cities as a platform, not a multitude of black box systems without any interconnection, and not one huge complex system that is handling everything built by a big company, IT company, of course, using proprietary techniques. Most of IT companies try to become the operating system of big cities. We must fight this temptation. The smart city is a system too complex to be managed like that. Modelization is a tool, but only a tool, and have to stay a tool. The smart city needs degrees of liberty, bottom-up initiative, serendipity, conflicts, and deliberation among citizens. It needs politics in the noble sense of the word, and bold policies to try and fail and try again. A city must be an open platform where public agencies and companies, big and small, can work together, share data and intelligence, and propose and experiment innovative solutions. Smart grids are interoperable grids whose system of information is connected and interact, or it is not smart grid. It is, of course, not an easy task, but Paris has already taken several steps in that direction. The first step is to develop an open innovation policy so that the city becomes a living lab where anybody can test an innovative solution. We started in 2009 the Paris Region Innovation Lab, the nickname is Paris Lab, an agency dedicated to helping the other agencies in their innovation process, and a one-stop shop for innovators to experiment on the city's territory. It works in three ways. It responds to problems submitted by agencies by sourcing new solutions. It receives propositions from the outside and arranges for experimentations. It helps the city launch open requests for proposals on specific subjects and experiments the proposals. Since its launch, it has contributed to bringing dozens of experimentations to the territory of Paris. It is not a procurement agency, but it helps procurement because it creates a sourcing of innovative solutions and fosters awareness for new ideas. In a 2011 call for proposal on the experimentation of smart urban furniture, the city experts on urban furniture told us that we would be lucky if we had 5 proposals. We had 50 proposals, and they are being tested right now in the parks and streets of Paris. Another call for proposal was this year to get solutions for the energy efficiency of our buildings, led us to retain 19 projects that we will experiment in the next few months. Through the wide array of solutions, we will develop our knowledge and the knowledge of our partners on these technologies and how they can be used in the very specific context of Paris. The projects include equipment to reduce hot water consumption, new solutions for ventilation and air purification, a new kind of photovoltaic tiles various smart metering systems for electricity and other fluids, and many more. Through all these activities of the Paris Region Lab, we turn the city into an open platform for innovation. Another way to turn cities into platform is through an open data policy. By opening the city databases and making them available for everyone to use, we achieve a basic form of interoperability. Because the city services themselves will be able to use the data. In the meantime, we give scientists, engineers, and companies an opportunity to elaborate and propose new products and solutions to the city's issues. We have started publishing our data. It is still an ongoing process. We published most of our maps and geographical data about the city. It will take us many years before everything is online, but we are starting to envision the formidable capacity for innovation of such a project. When we will release the itineraries of our garbage trucks, it will give GPS navigation systems the opportunity to integrate the data so that people can avoid being stuck in the traffic behind a garbage truck in a narrow street. And some Parisians here understand what I say. If we published all the data of our bike sharing system, Velib, for a year, we could have research teams help us on the optimization of the bike transfers throughout the city to avoid having too many empty stations or full stations. Ultimately, I believe that most innovations come from the people and from small companies and not from big administrations, which is why it is crucial for Paris to turn itself into a platform as open as possible so that you can come build new inventions in Paris. Then we will be able to face the economical and ecological challenges of the 21st century. Thank you very much.